You're listening to another episode of Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and Jon.
Greetings, Earthlings and locally hated parts store countermen. This is Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and Jon. And we're back for episode 157. All right, take it away, guys.
You nailed it, dude. You absolutely nailed it, man. The radio voice, dude, it comes through.
Could you imagine having to talk like that all the time?
No.
Like not all the time, but like Joe Rogan's got that joke about how they get to use that voice.
Yeah.
And for some reason, when I keep moving over, I'm moving the wrong way. And but that like Southside Steve don't talk like that all the time. He talks like it when he's on the radio.
Sure.
But imagine having to stay in that for the 4 hours that you're on the radio every morning.
Yeah. I couldn't do it.
I couldn't either.
I couldn't do it. We do this podcast for 1 hour every week, and that's like plenty.
That's all the enunciating you want to do.
Yeah, pretty much. Like the rest of the time, I want to be able to get words wrong and not care. And like, you know what I mean? Like
rotisserie chicken.
Yeah. Or rotisserie. Or like get song lyrics wrong. Dude, I know we've talked about this before. I've been meaning to bring it up on air.
Okay.
So like the Rolling Stones' Beast of Burden.
Yeah.
I'll never be your pizza burning. You know what I'm saying? It totally sounds like pizza burning. Is there any other song lyrics that you've gotten wrong, like bad wrong, that you remember?
I'm usually pretty good on song lyrics unless I hear it wrong from somebody else singing it, and then I think it's like the old Creedence song, "There's a bathroom on the right."
Dude, that's the way I've heard it my whole life. And it's really bad because both of those songs, those titles are in the like the parts that I'm singing wrong.
Yeah.
The Beast of Burden is what is the lyrics I'm getting wrong. And then Bad Moon Rising is the one I'm getting wrong. Like,
well, you want me to give you one? Because it's funny you talk about this because I saw a TikTok this morning and it's going to mess up everything.
Okay.
Now on, whenever you hear the song. Oh, Hot Tour Girl?
Yeah.
Was on a podcast?
Yeah.
She was talking about that Jay-Z song. She's like, the one that says "Concrete Jungle, Wet Dream Tomatoes."
Dude, that's so bad because my girls love that song. They love that Alicia Keys song.
I'll play the clip.
We have to listen to it all the time.
Here, listen.
Concrete jungle, wet dream tomato. About New York.
I remember having to tell my girls what it said because they were like, "Daddy, what does that say right there?" I was
Concrete jungle, what dreams are made of.
Where dreams are made. Concrete jungles, where dreams are made of, or something made from, or some nonsense. Yeah. But wet dream tomato. That's really good. That's a good one. She's been on like a little podcast roll. Good for that girl.
She's getting her 15 minutes.
Yeah, good for that girl. Good for that girl. Moving on, dude. Moving on. How was your weekend? I know you guys did some racing. We're gonna get to the racing. Was that what encompassed your weekend?
So Friday was racing. That's the racing report. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yep.
Saturday's the day after Friday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We had Chloe's first birthday.
Oh man, look at you, dude.
It worked out that her birthday was actually on that Saturday. So it was like, boom, she's had her birthday and she was sick.
Oh, bummer.
So she didn't want to have nothing to do with anybody.
Of course not. So that was Pappy and Meemaw. What are you guys?
I don't know. I think Mary Beth's Nana now.
Nana? Okay.
Yeah.
What are you? You still Pappy?
El Padre.
Padre.
I figure it's just going to end up being Chuck.
It should be. It fits you so well.
because that's what Sierra and Cheyenne call me,
Yeah.
you know, and they just always call me Chuck.
Right.
I ain't never been one that's like, oh, you got to call when you're over here, you got to call me that. I ain't never been that kind.
No.
Because, there's people like that. I'm
Right.
like, I'm Chuck.
Yeah.
And anyway, so we went up there and did that. And that was in Winder.
Okay. So you went
Okay.
up there for the party.
Yes. And Charlie's girlfriend came with us.
Oh,
So her
look at
mom
that.
brought her up. She lives in Thomaston. Yeah, she brought her up, and then we had to take her home.
Mm-hmm.
And Cheyenne and Kyle were staying at our house, so I was going to run Mary Beth down here to our house, and then run down to Thomaston and drop her off.
Sure.
Well, we got to looking at the Google Maps, and it was 10 minutes longer just to drive straight from there to her house, where it would have been 2 hours or almost 2 hours to drive to our house, then another 45 minutes down.
Whoa.
Yeah, because you could just stay on one road and kind of go around.
I got you.
But we ended up eating at Buckner's. When's the last time you ate at Buckner's?
Dude, it has been years. I'd say a good 12 years since I've eaten at Buckner.
Yeah, it was 16 for us.
Wow.
Because Mary Beth was pregnant with Charlie last time we ate.
Buckner's is the best. We've talked about this before. Come on. Give me the rundown. How was it?
It's as good as it's ever been. Okay? But
They brought out way too much food.
They bring out way too much. Charlie had never been.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's at the perfect age to experience Buckner's for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like, that food come out and his eyes got big. They're just like, I don't know what. I think he ate everything but stewed tomatoes.
Sounds about right for him.
And that barbecue, he's like, will they bring more out? Mary was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, if you ask them for it, they'll bring
keep
them. They'll
going.
bring you as much as you want.
But how much do you think it costs for 4 adults, to eat at Buckner's now?
I'm gonna go and say $32 a piece, which would mean $128 plus tax.
You're a little high. It was $93.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
So
That's hey,
it's reasonable.
for everything that you get there,
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable. That's including drinks and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you hear people, you sit down to eat, and you hear the people beside you ordering water. I'm like, dude, you just paid for that drink. You get the drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go
Might
to
as well.
Buckner's, you get the sweet tea.
Yeah. 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 Inside scoop, get the sweet tea at
Get the
Buckner.
sweet tea. Or lemonade is pretty good too.
Yeah.
But, everything there is made fresh.
Mm.
And that was fun.
Man, what a great experience. Buckner's is fantastic. They've got it going on. Anybody who hasn't been there, it's technically in Jackson, right?
Yes, it has a Jackson address.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody who has not been to Buckner's, 75 South in Jackson, got to go check it out.
Yeah, you tell people where you're from, like if you're traveling, and they'll be, oh, that's near Buckner's. If they travel a lot.
It's a staple. It's a staple, man. And rightfully
I think it's probably more important to that area food-wise than maybe Fresh Air Barbecue. I'm not saying it's better. It's two different kinds of restaurants, but it may be more famous.
I'd say it sticks out. It stands out. People will remember that. I don't know. I agree with you. I think it's like to that area. I think Buckner's is more well known.
Yeah. Now we walked right in. We didn't even have to wait.
Oh, that's so nice, man. On a Saturday?
Yeah. Well, we got there about 7.
Okay, so maybe you may have missed the rush.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we did, because I've been there before when it's been like an hour to get in.
Well, most of Jackson likes to go to dinner about 4:30.
Seems like it. Seems like it.
Then
Then you got the people that's traveling. They're like, well, we'll just eat a late lunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it gets it backed up. But man, it was so good. So good. What'd you do this weekend? Did you see meteors?
Did I see? No. We were talking about staying up, but we were too tired. Catherine
guess
wanted to
what?
call it a night.
You didn't miss anything.
Did you see anything?
Nope.
Did you look for a little while?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen them before, so I knew what to look for.
Sure.
And I knew, when it's a good active shower, you don't have to stay up and look long.
No.
And it was not what it was hyped up to be.
Yeah, I mean that happens about every year, The
Yeah.
peak day, they always say the peak day, but I've always looked on the peak day except for yesterday, except for this
Right.
last. And I rarely see that much. Typically, I'll see it towards the end. I don't know if it has to do with where our hemisphere is or what, but like normally towards the end of the shower, I'll see some if
Yeah.
I'm driving at night. You know what I mean? You'll just see the streak across the
Little
sky.
streak. I mean, those streaks are pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And I didn't see any. I'm not saying that they didn't have times last night that you could see them good, but I
Probably.
wouldn't stay out there all morning. The dog across the street was barking. And I don't know why he was barking because he never barks. So I was ready. I had daggum, I worked last night and I'm by myself on Sundays. I've had 2 weeks in a row. I've had people come, I've caught people looking for a spot to have some romantic interest.
No way. They pull into the UPS center thinking it's empty,
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
get lucky in the car?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, I kind of felt bad that I walked.
Was it
down.
the same car both weeks?
No, it was a different one.
Oh my gosh. What are the chances, man?
This one was leaving. I don't remember seeing them pull. I didn't see them pull in, so I don't know how long they were back there. The other
So
one
they could have been parked back in the woods or something. You never know.
yeah, they were on shop side.
Oh.
And they come right. I seen a car come riding from the back by the shop. I'm like, what in the world? Because I hadn't been down that side last night. I was working on the, all the trucks were on the other side.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what in the world? How long have they been back there?
Oh my gosh.
And then the other one, the low end the week before that, they just happened to be pulling in as I was stepping out of a truck that I just had parked, and they're like, oh, and turned around and left. Oops.
Yeah, they were looking for a quiet parking lot, shall we say.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's happening. Yeah.
If you caught someone in the act, would you like tap on the window with a flashlight? What would you do? What would be your course of action?
I'd probably just keep on walking. That's them. Yeah.
They're gonna be done in 2 minutes anyway.
Yeah, they'll be gone.
They'll be gone before you know it.
But you know what? It got me wondering.
Uh.
Out over the years that I've been doing this on Sunday nights, how many have I missed?
That's true. How many have you like honked the horn when you're backing up out of the shop and like and they just take off? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've never even known they were there.
Yeah. I just wonder how many that I have not. And like when I hear noises that I can't explain, was that somebody, because you hear people driving all the time.
Sure.
So how many times has somebody drove down the other side of the building and I've not known it? That kind of bothers me a little bit.
Yeah. And I know we're kind of giving away a little bit too much here, but like that's one of the reasons why I think it's kind of messed up that we don't have a fence. A lot of other areas have fences, containment, a sense of security.
Right.
We don't have that there. So
yeah, it was. So I was on edge all night.
Yeah. It sounds like
I was working in a truck, had the fan blowing in it, putting in those mounts, and the DR bag was flapping in the wind.
Yep.
And I'd keep catching it out of the corner of my eye, thinking somebody was walking across the front of the truck. That happened 3 times.
Man,
I figured out it was the bag. So I was like, I'd go out the back and I'd walk around the truck and look, and I'm like, nobody's out here.
So we should talk about this on air. I know we are way off topic, but whatever. We should talk about this on air. One of the worst parts of our job, probably the worst part, in my opinion, is the fact that UPS has cloth seats, cloth cushion driver seats. And during this time of year, as you can imagine, these drivers get out there and it's 100 degrees, 120 sometimes maybe in the back of their trucks. They're sweating bullets, covered in sweat. That seat soaks up all their sweat. So when Chuck and I go to get in the seat at night and we sit down and it's soggy and cold water, and you just get it soaked into your pants and in the back of your shirt, and now you've got someone else's butt sweat all up on the small of your back and all up and down. It's that's the worst part of our job.
You go get in a truck that was parked at 7 o'clock in the evening. You'll go get it at midnight, and the seat will still be wet because that junker's sweating so much.
It's so gross, man. It's so gross. It's such a rough part of our job.
Yeah.
I don't complain about much of anything.
No,
I really don't.
And you can't look at the seat and know that it's not wet enough to change color.
No. Luckily this year, I have gotten in the best of habits of covering up the seats with the DR bags, with those like you were talking about. Like I take them and I throw one over the back and I lay one over the cushion and I'm good to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could tell when you've been working on a truck.
I've gotten really good about remembering this year. It happened like a couple of times at the beginning of the season. And after that, I remembered, dude.
I've been lucky. I hadn't sat down in it since that one that I started that on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Praise God.
You want some racing
inside scoop. That's just a little bit of an inside scoop on
inside scoop. Wet seats in the summertime.
Yeah.
Woo. And it just smells like a locker room.
Yeah.
The building smells like a locker room.
Yeah. Well, look, my weekend is really quick. Shout out Nora. She's one of my favorite little nieces. She's awesome. We went to her 10th birthday party, of course. That was one of my normal weekend things. I didn't work on any cars. I did not work on any cars this weekend, but I did go to a 10-year-old's birthday party, and it was fantastic. Shout out Nora. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
John had a birthday party, so next week we won't have a birthday party on the weekend review. But the week after that, you can guarantee we got one.
We'll see. I might have one next week. Don't put it past
me. Yeah. So we went back over to Penton, Alabama. It was $2,026 to win.
Yep.
Or if you ask Charlie, $2,600 to win.
I caught that little slip up, but I wasn't going to say nothing.
And anyway, so coming soon to Possum Wood Studios Productions. Yeah,
that's right.
OWP. We've got a podcast from Charlie, and John's been editing it. So that's one thing he did this weekend.
He laid down his first episode of that podcast, and the title of it is.
I don't know the title. The title of the show is going to be "Pushing Like a Dump Truck."
Okay. Yeah, the title of the podcast, right? Or is that just the title of the show?
No, that's the title of the podcast. Pushing Like a Dump Truck.
All right, Pushing Like a Dump Truck is going to be the name of the podcast, and it'll probably just be called episode 1. I think it would be easy to keep track of.
Yeah, it'll just be episode 1. Maybe a Penton review or something like that, or whatever. But he did this one all monologue. Yeah,
and that's cool, man. He did a great job too, by the way.
He's like, "Do you know how hard that is?" I was like, "Yeah, I know how hard that is." I may join him some to do some dirt racing, talk about some of the highlights of the weekend and some other races, but I'm not going to really talk about his races.
Yeah.
I'm going to let him do that. We went to Penton to race in Alabama, and I think there was 12 hobby cars showed up. It was a 26-lap race. We didn't do good in qualifying. Got spun out on the first lap.
Mm.
So we had to go to the back. Got in another little melee and had to go to the back. Kept passing cars. Kept going. Just things would happen. Ended up with 20 to go. There was 4 cars left on the track, and Charlie was running third.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Dude.
he avoided all the bad wrecks. I mean, there was one wreck that took out 6 cars.
Dang.
We may have a bent lower control arm on the right front.
Okay.
Something's definitely different up there, so I gotta get it apart and look at it.
That's repairable by Saturday, though, right? To go racing again,
If I can find one.
if you can find one. Okay.
Yeah. I was looking at one from Summit, and I can get it back. I can get it here before then, but I got to do some modifications to it, so I don't know if I can get it.
Right.
So we'll see. But we had a good time. We had one of the hobby drivers. I think he ended up with a concussion. He got his bell rung pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a good time. We went over there. It went well for us.
Yeah, I think I heard Charlie in the editing of his podcast, not to divulge too much and take away any of his shine, but I think I heard him talk about there was a kid who got sent to the hospital, right?
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
an adult. It's one that we've raced against. We race against him every week. So,
Oh wow.
uh,
I hope he gets better soon,
yeah,
man.
I've
That's
been
rough.
trying to find out. I've texted some people, but it ain't gotten back with me yet. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just one of them crazy nights. These guys don't get to race for that kind of money much,
Right.
and they're all going after it.
Sure.
But he was passing cars. We got a little bit of a bog coming out of 4. That track was kind of rough, so we got a little bit of bog, and we got to figure out if it's carburetor or timing, like just some stuff into the distributor. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
uh,
But dude, I mean, to finish third place is a big deal, right?
yeah, that's his highest finish. That's the first time we finished on the podium.
That's a big deal for him. And how many? I mean, what is it? You said 4 or 5 straight now. He's finished in the top 5.
Last 3.
The last 3 races, he's finished in the top 5.
Races he's finished
Man,
top 5.
Isn't racing all about consistency?
Right.
And here he goes, man.
Yeah. So we want to keep that momentum up. The car didn't really drive that different. He said it drove pretty good. So
That's good.
I just got to look at some things. But yeah, that was that. Then we had, and there was in the racing community this week, dude. There's a young man down in. Did we talk about that in the kid in Moultrie? On the podcast? I know we talked about it at work.
Yeah, I think we did mention it on the podcast, but go ahead.
So he's got a brain tumor. They thought he had a concussion, but it turns out they did an MRI and they found a brain tumor. And I talked to some people that this weekend because Sierra's other half, Zach's family is from down there.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be flying in a specialist from out of the country.
Whoa.
To come look at it and see what he can do.
Whoa.
Then at Southern Raceway over in Alabama or Florida, I think it might be North Florida. They had a guy had a heart attack on the track and caused a pretty big wreck. He didn't make it; he passed away. And then in Toccoa, Georgia, they had a guy had a heart attack right after his race. I don't even know if he got out of the race car or not.
Oh my gosh, man.
So I told Charlie, I said, look, man, I said, with all this going on, because a friend of mine said, he said, it seems like drivers need to be looking at their health a little bit.
Mm.
And that got me thinking, and I texted Charlie, I said, look, I said, all these guys got this cause that they're behind. People's got causes.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what if you're a champion of, and you talk about it anytime you get, when you figure out what to do with it, like Millennial Farmer promotes farm safety.
Yes.
Well, how come how come our local race car drivers aren't going and getting, and I'm not saying it should be mandatory, but if you're playing rec football, you got to go get a physical,
Sure.
the yearly sports physical.
Yeah. Yeah, that would help promote driver safety, because think about this, okay? That situation in Toccoa where the guy had a heart attack shortly after the race. What if it happened during and he takes a couple of drivers out? You know, I'm just saying, how close were you to that? Within a few minutes, within 10 minutes of that happening?
Yeah.
Like
the one in Alabama, the car climbed the fence on the front straightaway.
See, that's scary, dude.
So, I mean, if you're a driver out there and you're listening to this, you know, get help. And me and Charlie was talking about, he said, you know, DOT drivers they need to get a physical every year.
Yeah.
Or every 2 years or whatever. But,
yeah,
you know, stay hydrated. You know, dehydration can lead to, if you already got a heart problem,
sure,
it can ag stuff on. It's been hot. So,
absolutely.
we're looking at that. We're trying to figure out how we can promote that a little bit. Maybe bracelets.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Website. He said he even reached out to Liquid IV, so I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, find some sponsors. Try to find some sponsorships. That would be cool.
That's
a local gym sponsor, maybe.
Huh?
A local gym.
Local gym.
Urgent care. Local gym.
Urgent care that would do a sports physical for.
Absolutely. Partner with the urgent care. If you get those people involved, they generally like to be involved in their communities. You know what I mean? Not to mention there's tax write-offs for donations.
I got a friend that just opened up an urgent care.
There you go.
So, yeah, so that's something we're working on. It was a different kind of weekend. And then I played some video. When I come home from work Friday, I got on a video game. I got on the World Outlaws game.
Okay. This is some street racing game, right? Some kind of racing game.
It's dirt racing.
Dirt racing game. Okay.
Dirt racing.
Right.
And I know, is it 5 drivers? 4 drivers? 4 or 5, 3 or 4 or 5, something like that. A handful of drivers that are in this video game with their cars that run at Sonoma. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, one of them I went to high school with, and I don't think he would have been most likely voted to be in a video game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So you know all these people on like a first name basis, though.
Yeah. And then here's the weird thing. That's not the only video game I know people in.
Okay.
Because 2 of Charlie's former teammates at Skipstone wound up in the new college football game.
That's crazy. 2?
2.
So you know like 7.
Over 2 different video games.
That's insane. You know 7 different people in different video games, like over the span of 2 video games.
That's so weird, right? Is that weird? I didn't have that on my bingo card.
I don't know a single person in a video game. So yeah, I'd say that's weird.
I mean, so how many people know somebody that's actually in a video game?
That's what is going to be the question this week. That's going to be like a poll.
Yeah, it's a poll. Can't you put polls in the description?
I think so. I think I can ask questions.
I think it's going to be like 0 and then 1. Like you know, 80% of our listeners don't know somebody in a video game.
Right. I would say so, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but by the way, Spotify did recently add comments. So anyone who would like to comment on the podcast is more than welcome to do that through Spotify, if that's how you're listening. Do what?
Can I comment on the podcast?
For sure, man.
Okay.
Get on there. Interact with the listeners.
All right. Charlie asked me, he goes, Dad, can you put videos on Spotify yet? And I said, absolutely.
Yes. Yep. Every week.
So
every week we do it, man. I got it all figured out. All right. You ready to take a quick ad break so we can get back to this thing?
Let's do an ad break.
All right.
Thanks for sticking with us through this ad break, guys. I'm here to tell you about one of our sponsors, Eileen Ayers with Bush Realty. You can check her out at movingcoweta.com for all of your real estate needs in the metro Atlanta area, That's movingcoweta.com. Eileen Ayers with Bush Realty. Now back to the show.
All right, and we are back from that ad break. Chucker, we have got to discuss some of these things that are going on at the Olympics, man. Yeah, first and foremost being the inaugural, shall we say, year of breakdancing at the Olympics. So how do you feel about that? Do you consider breakdancing a sport worthy of an Olympic place? What's your thoughts on it being in the Olympic Games?
I can't dance.
So
I
you're
can't
Sweden?
sing. I can't sing. The only thing about me is the way I walk. So it's kind of weird that breakdancing is a sport in the Olympics.
Yeah.
But they do have dance competitions with dance teams. But breakdancing?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying, I don't know. I mean, what is a sport?
Sure.
What is a sport? Are they
Sure.
athletes? They got to have good core.
Yeah. Is that your qualifier for an athlete?
Okay. Should Circus du Soleil performers get? Okay. A floor routine in gymnastics, that's a dance of sorts.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
So this is just like X Games version of that, maybe?
Kind of. I mean, we already have skateboarding in the Olympics. We have surfing in the Olympics.
I don't like surfing in the Olympics.
Do what?
I don't like surfing in the Olympics.
Really? Why?
They had it. Because you can't build a venue for it, and they had to have it in a whole nother area, like Tahiti or Fiji or something like that.
Sounds about right.
And those people didn't get like the full Olympic experience. They just hung out with the same people they hang out with all the time anyway.
Sounds kind of perfect if you're a surfer, though.
They're probably like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, they get all the glory and recognition of the Olympics while they're just doing what they normally do with their bros.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. The breakdancing is it a sport?
Did you happen to see the Australian breakdancer?
I have seen clips on TikTok.
Okay, this is one of the craziest things to me. This girl, I don't even know her name, Raygun or something like that. This woman, it's an excruciatingly bad. I mean, it's so bad for performance that even the Australian news outlets in Australia, where this woman is from, her country that she's representing there at the Olympics, even the Australian news outlets are saying literally the headline I read, embarrassingly bad Olympian performs at the, you know what I'm saying? Or embarrassingly bad breakdancer performs at the Olympics. Like, that's your own country's news outlet. Yeah. Now, I know our media isn't perfect, but our media would frame it in a way where it's like online frenzy over Olympian breakdancer or whatever.
You call her out.
No, not call her embarrassingly bad.
Unless it was Trump breakdancing, they wouldn't have said it was bad.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. If it was DJT, dude,
they would have waited to find the political views of the person and what they identified as before they called it bad. If it was a transgender, they'd be like, transgendered breakdancer overcomes adversity to be the first tranny at a freaking Olympics.
Yeah, and if
it was a conservative,
bad, they'd be like, people are racist against her.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. They would weigh the political standing of that person.
Definitely. If it was conservative, hilarious. They'd be like, conservative breakdancer culturally appropriates dance routine at Olympics.
Yeah,
Fails
alt
miserably.
right,
Yeah.
alt right breakdancer performs at the Olympics.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that's the thing right now is if they all got to run it through a political spin filter.
yeah, for sure.
It
For
could
sure.
be anything, anything.
Anything.
But
Anything.
I've heard it's not going to be back. They're
The
one and
breakdance.
done. Yeah, one and done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I can't say that I'm mad about it. I don't think it was ready for the main stage
I
like
don't
that.
think you might not be ready for this, but your kids are going to love it.
Yeah. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not ready for the main stage. That's what I'm saying.
2050, they'll be like, breaks dancing makes its return to the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah. This long, hard fought battle to get the breakdancing back into the Olympics is over.
Because there's one kid that their grandparents wanted them to be an Olympic break dancer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, man. Did you all right, I know we need to move on from the Olympics, but did you happen to catch any of what was happening during the triathlon
I heard
competition?
it was pretty crappy.
To say the least, man, to say the least. Now, do you remember hearing about the lead up to the Olympics and all of that fiasco?
Yeah. Yeah, the water is at the river. It's not the Thames, it's the what's the
No,
name of the river?
I can't even remember now.
It's
When
the
you said
Paris
Thames,
River. Is it the Paris River?
no, that doesn't sound right to me. But
The
it's the
Paris
one that
River.
goes, yeah,
So the Paris River was very highly polluted. Evidently, well, French people stink anyway, so they didn't know it was polluted.
no,
They don't wear deodorant.
nope,
They don't take baths, and they don't put ice in Cokes.
none.
No, Europeans don't put ice in drinks.
I'm so glad we grew up in America, dude.
Right?
Oh my gosh. Oh my
But
gosh. No ice and drinks.
no ice in drinks. I mean, this is a fact that we live in. That Europeans don't put ice in drinks.
They're supposed to be like culinary experts over there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they say the food's good, but the drinks ain't. And look, I look at French cuisine a lot of times and go, "Where's the rest of it?"
Yeah. Yeah, I think the same thing.
You imagine a French chef at Buckner's?
He'd lose his mind.
He's like, "What is this? It's not plated." Sans français.
All right.
I took French in middle school.
Getting back to the river of poop.
High
So
school.
the
I
mayor,
practiced French. Practicing.
the mayor of Paris says
He
we're
said,
going
"Parlez-vous français?"
to yeah. The mayor of France, the mayor of Paris says we're going to clean up the river for the Olympics. We're going to get it so clean that I'll swim in it.
Yeah, he got sick, didn't he?
So the prime minister and the mayor, I think, both got in the river. They didn't necessarily get sick, but they were covered like head to toe, wetsuits and everything. And they went like literally like one ladder to one ladder. And I think they have floats with them and stuff. Like it was kind of a disgrace.
Didn't Johnny Knoxville jump in the sewage treatment plant with just duct tape?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that water was probably cleaner than that water in Paris.
So, but because the mayor came out and announced that they were going to do this, all the people there in Paris start dumping their poop in there, like intentionally. So not only was there get a lot of sewage runoff and nasty junk in there already, the people started on purpose polluting because they said, screw the Olympians. We're not even going to think about them. They knew that their mayor was going to get in the water. So they start polluting it on purpose.
How much is this mayor hated?
Apparently a lot.
I mean,
Enough.
You think they got worried when the Germans showed up in Paris for the Olympics? Like last
mean-
time they showed up, they just handed them the keys to the city. They said, "Here you
Right.
go, boys."
Yeah.
And then the Americans showed up and beat everybody. I mean, it's like World War II all over again.
They were raising this white flag, and the Olympics had to be like, no, this is where you raise your country flag.
Yeah. You don't have to give up.
yeah. No, we're
We?
recognizing you now.
We?
So anyway, we get to the triathlon. These poor athletes are coming out of the water throwing up. Some of them are still bedridden like a week and a half later, can't get out of bed. They're super sick, can't eat, can't drink. Like they're really suffering over there. I mean, one thing I learned while doing a triathlon, especially in open water, is that like you have waves in open water. Okay.
Yes.
It's not something that's very common in a pool.
Right.
So you're training all this time in a pool. Well, open water, when you start getting those waves, you're going to get water in your mouth.
Yeah, that's what they said. They took in a lot of water.
If you swim a long distance, you're going to wind up swallowing some of that water. Like it's part of it. And so I can't imagine what those athletes are going through right now.
My question is, how stagnant is this river? I mean, is it not free flowing? Does it just more like a puddle? You know,
I have no idea, man.
Does it smell? And if it smells, does it smell like the French Quarter in New Orleans?
It has to smell, because there's been some athletes that say they felt stuff in there.
Things that they should never had to feel.
Yes.
Maybe they should have had the triathlon in Fiji too.
That's what it sounds like, man. That's what well, the shark attacks, I don't know. They don't care about the surfers. Don't care. The triathletes shouldn't care, right?
Right. If they do it at the same time, then the sharks got a buffet.
Oh God. We have some predators, some newly found, a newly found predator here in Georgia, man.
There's a new snake on the loose. Well, he's dead now. There's a snake. Do you know where Lake Spivey is?
Of course, man. Of course. That's not all that far from here.
Are you familiar with Lake Spivey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It is one of the nicer areas in Clayton County, or maybe the last nice area in Clayton County.
Mm-hmm.
It's that there was a tree service company. They posted on their Facebook. They were working over there and they found a 9-foot long yellow anaconda.
Oh.
And they're pretty sure that it was somebody's pet they let go.
Oh my gosh.
Because they don't think it's a breeding pair or anything out there.
Sure. But it's still terrifying to think about.
Yeah, that was huge, dude.
What do you think that thing was eating? Like turtles and fish and stuff?
Everything. Anacondas aren't they like a water version of a boa constrictor or a python?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're land and sea.
Yeah.
They're like the Marines of the snake world.
Yeah, pretty much. They are top of the food chain. I mean, they eat crocodiles. There's some videos you can actually look up. They'll eat a crocodile, and the crocodile will eat its way out of it. Yeah. It's wild, dude.
Are they the snakes that were on the plane?
I'm sure there was some on there. I can't even remember that.
Yeah, I never watched that.
They discovered a new species of anaconda this year, actually. They found one. It was 30 foot long in the Amazon River.
The tone loke.
Yeah. The what?
The tone loke.
What are you even talking about?
Are you for real? You don't get that reference?
No.
My anaconda won't know.
Oh. Unless you got, I got it. Yeah. Okay. Tim.
The tone loke anaconda.
I did not. I couldn't put the 2 and 2 together, man. I'm sorry. I'm running a little slow today, I guess, Chucker. I'm running a little slow. I hope you have the conspiracy for us, though. I
do have a conspiracy. Okay, check this out. The Hodge twins. We know the Hodge twins.
Most people know the Hodge twins.
They were 2 twins that lean very conservative. They're pretty funny.
Yeah.
One of their best videos is when they go and try Raising Cane's in Knoxville. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
But they blew up Twitter yesterday, or X, whatever you want to call it,
Okay.
with the tweet that said that, I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it pulled up, that Q is just a psyop to distract the conservatives and lull them into trusting the plan.
What?
You've heard about Q, right?
Yeah, QAnon.
QAnon. You know that.
Yes.
You know, if you in all these QAnon drops and all that stuff.
Sure.
And and you know, there's a lot of conservatives that are like, oh yeah, Q, trust the plan. You got Q.
I've never heard someone say that. I mean, I know that's the chatter online that there are QAnon followers, but I've never.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Really?
Yeah.
Openly admits to being a QAnon follower? Whoa. Trust the plan. Trust the plan, everybody.
But yeah, so they made a lot of conservatives mad yesterday.
Well, good for them.
I like it. Think outside the box.
Think outside the box. Absolutely. It's a sense of division amongst the conservative party, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
You know, it's
but I've never been big on Q. Like there's people that think Donald Trump is Q.
Okay.
And that he's working out this plan behind the screen and pulling all these public. Like, there's still people that think that the reason he started Space Force was so that he would, once he got out of office and they did him like this, that he would have a military agency that wasn't tainted to go in and do his things that he needs to be done to take over this bad deep state government we got. Well, guess what, y'all? If that's the plan, it ain't working.
This seems so silly. That seems so silly. So, what's the conspiracy? Is the conspiracy that Donald Trump is Q? What's the conspiracy
The
here?
conspiracy is that, I guess the conspiracy would be that Q is a psyop.
Okay. I give that a good 5 beans. I think the likelihood of that is high. Right? We've most of us have heard that stat that 19 of the top 20 Christian sites on Facebook were ran by Russian bot farms, right?
Yeah.
Back during the 2016 election, I believe.
Yeah.
So to think that there's not outside influence, and for us to be so conceited as to think that Q is an American who actually cares, you know,
Right.
I think that's silly. I think it's way more likely that it is a foreign entity or someone just trying to cause division, right? Like the Joker says, some men just like to see the world burn.
Or that Q's got some kind of prophetic knowledge of what's going on.
It's not, no. I'd be willing to bet Q is wrong more than Q is correct.
They're just showing the right times. It's like, I feel like sometimes we're Australians battling freaking emus.
We're not going to win.
We're not going to win. We can't get no traction.
You got to build higher walls.
There's
build
too many daggum emus.
The only solution is to build a fortress around your house.
Yeah. Be prepared.
And I think that goes spiritually as well, people, by the way.
Yeah.
Just saying.
People, they talk about clinging to God's guns and what's the third one?
Freedom.
I don't know. Constitution.
I think there's got to be a level of respect, though, right? Like, I think one thing that we lack in in this free society that we live in is giving people the space to be different and act different and do different things. Like, when you give people freedom, you also have to give them space. Right. You know what I mean? To operate in that freedom. And sometimes that's going to equal out into a lot different things than what you're interested in.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. You ready for a meme?
Yes.
Because I don't want to go down too much of a political rabbit hole. I'm already having a rough day.
I am with you. I am with you, dude.
All right. This is freaking hilarious to me.
Pulling it up right now. This is Troy. He sucks at fishing. On a billboard. Okay, and then the caption is Minnesota man buys billboard to smack talk his fishing buddy. That's incredible, dude.
I love it.
That's absolutely incredible, man. I love seeing that. Isn't that from good old Tampon Timmy's home state right there?
Yeah, that's Tampon Tim's home state.
Oh, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Great meme week.
You want a Scott Bloomquist meme?
Why not? Here we go. Here we go. Oh, man. Me and the boys tearing it up at the local watering hole after a solid 6th place finish. Lock your powders up. That wild bunch is back in town. Yes, dude. It's got Scott Bloomquist singing. I'm guessing at some kind of open mic, maybe live band type show. This is just incredible. This is incredible. I'm a big fan of Scott Bloomquist. Have you guys seen him lately? Has he been out and about?
Let's see. He had a he was in a wreck at Tazewell the other day. He's down to one car.
Oh, wow.
So, if he wrecks, he's out for a minute, kind of like us. But I wish you could have seen Scott in his prime Black Sunshine days. You know, the video child himself. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about going out to Scott's house, and this guy said that as weird as Scott is, when it comes to a race car, he is Elon Musk level smart with a race car.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah. It just goes to show you that like brilliance and crazy kind of borderline each other. You know what I'm saying?
And then I saw another meme, and it says a racetrack is just the smartest rednecks in your area getting together and driving their race cars around, or driving their cars around in circles.
There's not much wrong about that either.
No, not.
Not much wrong about that either, man.
Well, it's been a good show. I'm in a little bit better mood now.
Praise God.
We got to give our shout outs to the Eating Chambers on YouTube.
That's right. Check them out, the Eating Chambers channel on YouTube. Chef Drew's over there giving you all the good stuff.
Pushing Like a Dump Truck coming to you soon this week.
That's right. That's right.
It should be out and about.
Yep. Got a little bit more editing to do. A little more collaborating with Charlie. But yeah, we should have that thing out.
You texted him that this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I've been working with him a little bit. A little more collaborating to do, but we're going to get it all cleaned up and ready for him.
Yeah, we're trying to find a dump truck that looks like a late model going through a turn.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
AI, dude.
Yeah, I might have to do that. Dump truck race car? I don't know. Race car dump truck?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Type in, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It's been a good episode, man. 157 in the books.
We'll see y'all.
Thank you, Nightshifters.